today we are sharing about strength. And as Esther was praying, she kept reminding us that we need to depend on the strength from the Lord, or on our own there's not much that we can do. That if we depend on the divine strength of God, we can go further than we ever expected. So, I know most of us will appreciate that there's a big difference between God's strength and our own strength. That is the human strength. And if we do depend on our human strength or depend on ourselves, trust me, 100 or 200% that you are bound to fail. It's like a recipe for disaster. So, it is only the Lord that can give us strength that will see us from day to day, from glory to glory. It is the Lord that gives us the strength that takes us places we never imagined. It is the Lord that gives us the strength that will make us leap over mountains. So how do we define strength to start with? I would define it as a quality of being strong, that's physically, or it can be the power that comes from influence. When someone or something is influencing you, it can give you the strength. If you're not sure, you can ask people who abuse drugs. They will tell you how much strength they derive from such substances. It can also come from authority. And of course, if God is your authority, then you're soaring for great heights. And there we are able to have authority over the devil and all his dominion and everything. So he's under our feet. And how it defines strength, finally, it's the capacity to withstand a great force or a pressure. That is how I would define strength. You might be having your personal definition of strength, but today I want us to focus on the last definition of a capacity to withstand a great force or pressure. So we know that in this life, just like from morning, today is 1, from the time we started our day, which was around 5 a.m. with the morning glory, a lot has happened. A lot has happened for those that go to work. There's probably too much stress, a lot of pressure, traffic. For those that go to the gardens, the weather, there's a lot that is happening. There's a lot of pressures that come alongside being alive, alongside being part of humanity, part of the earth. A lot happens to us. Some sicknesses come up somehow. A lot happens while we go about our day. All that is pressure. All that brings force. All that causes uncertainty. All that makes us to doubt where we belong, or what we believe in, or where we draw our power and our strength from. But I want to remind you this afternoon that, as the Bible says, if we say we are weak, then we are acknowledging that God is strong through us. God's strength is manifested through our weaknesses. That's Joel 3:10. The Lord's strength is manifested through our weaknesses. So How do we become strong? I want to believe that gaining strength or sustaining strength is an art, some sort of art. So let me give an example of a child or a teenager. So today they will teach them something, or you give them, let's say it's a child, you've given them corn, maize, what would like to call maize. So you give a child maize today. Because their teeth are weak, they will try their best, lick it around and whatever, but somehow they will catch one, lose one, and they will take that in. Okay? Tomorrow or a week later, you give them the maize. They have learned now somehow to maneuver, so they know where the weak point is, they know how they can go about it, and how they will get probably another bite. So they will do better. If you give them the same maize a year later, they will show you that they can take a bite and actually complete half the corn. So strength is like that. Today, I will learn something like we read in Joel. In my weakness, his strength is proclaimed. So today, if I notice that I have a weakness, for example, waking up is a problem, or getting to work is a problem for some people, sustaining a job is a problem, okay? So if I realize what makes me fail, if I study and find out what makes me fail, I am in a better place to overcome whatever is holding me back. So how do we study ourselves? How do we overcome some of those things? Some time back, we learned a bit of meditation in URC Kampala, and we actually learned that if you can worry, you can meditate. That was the statement by Pastor Becky, I remember. So, for you to gain strength of the Lord, you have to meditate on the Word. That is going to be one of the greatest tools that you can use to gain that strength and to feel the confidence that you trust in the Lord and He gives you the strength. He is the source of your strength. Meditation on the Word. Meditation, if it's coupled with prayer, and before you know it, you actually be performing things that you never ever imagined that you would do. Because there's the way of when you know something, it increases your self-esteem. It gives you a boost, some sort of a boost of, I know I can do this. Deep within me, I feel I can do this. But how do you get there? Meditate, pray, then you will somehow find the strength in the Lord, and you will be sure and confident that you are safe there. Then the second place we do get our strength is studying the Word of God. If you take time to study the Word, you'll find quite numerous examples that will give you the strength, that will encourage you, that will give you like a stepping stone for you to be confident and to trust that within you there's the strength that you are drawing from the Lord because you are feeding from the Word. apostle mentioned something in the morning about being the doer of the word. If we do study and do what the word tells us to do, we are in a better place to be stronger and to experience the Lord's strength within us. Then, like, we go to, let me give an example of community service to others. The more you engage in giving a hand, like the Good Samaritan, like our love feast, the more you engage in such activities of serving others, you're actually doing the work of God. And in that, we get strength. Because like Zechariah 4:6 says, it's not by might nor by power, but by the Spirit. So we need to let the Spirit lead us. Once you are led by the Spirit, one step at a time, you will grow in strength and move in the strength of the Lord. So we can take an example of, let's just start with Moses. Moses had his weaknesses. Moses, I believe, used to stammer, and he was not good with speech. So he knew that he had a weakness. And yet he had an assignment to deliver the children of Israel from slavery. So for you to be able to speak and convince someone that they should badge to an instruction, you have to be good with speech, yeah? like a politician. Those guys are good with their words. So he knew that he was weak in that area. But that did not stop him. He couldn't communicate, but that did not stop him from taking the assignment. So after he had delivered the children of Israel, we'll see in Exodus 13:3. Someone bring that up for us, please. It was some sort of fulfillment. I can read. That is Exodus 13:3. Remember this day in which you came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by strength of the hand of the Lord brought you out from this place. It was a joy. It was a fulfillment. It was some sort of praise of the strength that was from the Lord. If it was by his own strength, if it was by his communication, if it was by his personal initiative, trust me, up to now, we wouldn't be talking about deliverance of the children of Egypt. We would still be stuck there, but the word of the Lord must be fulfilled anyway. So, but when we look at the example of Moses, he didn't work in his own strength, but he worked in the strength of the Lord. The other example that we can look at that is the most common to all of us, hopefully, is the story of David. Before David took on any battle, he consulted with the Lord. And if the Lord gave him a go ahead, he would go ahead. But if the Lord did not, he did not take it in his own hands, because he knew that its strength comes from the Lord. We can just take one example from Samuel 17:47. Samuel 17, verse 47. I'll proceed and read. I think I can paraphrase. So David knew that the battle was the Lord's, and he did not. And he said, all this assembly was known that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand. David did not doubt. His confidence was solid, more solid than, I don't even know, more solid than diamond. Hopefully, diamond is more solid than gold. So his confidence, his strength was drawn from the source that he knew never ever let him down. He did not depend on himself. He always trusted in the Lord. I hope I'm still audible. Thank you. So when we go through our one of our verses, that is Judges 6:14, the story of Gideon and the Midianites. The Lord asked Gideon a question. 6:14, Judges 6:14. The Lord turned to him and said, go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you? Imagine such a question. I wonder if God ever asked any of us, like Pastor always says, the question or suggestion is a command. So, was God not sending him? Was he supposed to trust in his own strength? Of course not. If a master sends me, when Jesus sent his disciples to go and pick the young donkey, they did not go in their own strength. Indeed, told them, if anybody asks, tell them our master. So you come in the name of someone. You are in the picture of that person. You have the authority of that person. So if God has sent you to do something, if God has given you an assignment to do, if God has purposed you to do something, you are working in the strength of God. Have faith that the master works in you. Have faith and be confident that the master that has sent you is the master that will bring that to accomplishment. Most times the human bit comes in and we are led to think that, what happens? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I don't get what I'm supposed to do? We have so many uncertainties. We have so many, I would like to call it, we think so much for God. And that's Kajanja, I think. So the Lord gives us a purpose and he has set it all out for us. And what do? Excuse after excuse. Just may the Lord forgive us and remind us that his strength is manifested in our weaknesses and that depending on him changes everything. literally changes everything. Because the Lord's hand is not short, not safe. But how often do we just divert and are overcome by small things that would ideally overcome, but it just overshadows us, and somehow we lose sight of what we ought to be. We are children of God, and I'm glad we had this afternoon to share and be reminded that the Lord is our strength. Because if people like Apostle Paul did not remember that his source of strength was the Lord, he wouldn't have proceeded, because Paul went through too much. He went through too much. I think that is in 2 Corinthians 11, 23. Somewhere in the middle there, 23 to 27. Paul suffered shipwreck. He suffered the perils of the water, of robbers, the countrymen, of the heathen, wilderness, the sea. How much more could anyone take? I wonder if there's any other person in this life that has gone through that for the gospel. But Paul endured all that because his source of strength was the Lord. And he knew he had the confidence. He was assured because he had practiced, like the example I gave you of a child. One bit at a time, and we get there. So the first day might be difficult, but the 15th day is much better if you keep moving. But if you stop and like the sea is not friendly, then you will not learn how to swim. So for some of us who have not been sure or have been wondering where to draw their strength, or we put one foot and then step back, that's human, it happens. But we all ought to remember that even in the turbulences of this world, even whatever happens, like Paul will take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecution, in distress for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. That is 2 Corinthians 12:10.